Russia rains drones and missiles on Kyiv, Sumy, and Kharkiv. As Ukrainian children prepared to return to school, Russia unleashed a barrage of missiles and drones across multiple regions, shattering the calm of the late summer night. The assault, targeting civilian infrastructure and populated areas, served as a grim reminder that even as life attempts to return to normal, the specter of war looms large over Ukraine. In a coordinated attack, Russian forces launched 35 cruise and ballistic missiles alongside 23 drones at Kyiv, Kharkiv, and Sumy regions. Ukraine's Air Force reported intercepting 22 missiles and 20 drones, showcasing the growing capabilities of their air defense systems. However, the sheer volume of projectiles ensured that some found their mark, causing damage and injuries across the targeted areas. Kyiv bore the brunt of the assault, with over 20 missiles aimed at the capital. Serhiy Popko, head of Kyiv's military administration, reported that air defense forces managed to destroy more than a dozen cruise missiles and about a dozen ballistic missiles and an attack drone in the skies above the city. Despite this impressive feat, falling debris sparked fires in 4 districts, injuring 2 people. The timing of the attack was particularly poignant, coming on the eve of the new school term. As emergency teams worked to extinguish fires and clear debris, students watched on, their anticipation for the academic year ahead now tinged with the stark reality of life in a war zone. In the Sumy region, which borders Russia's Kursk Oblast, the targets were even more egregious. Russian forces struck a center for social and psychological rehabilitation of orphans. While mercifully no children were present at the time, the attack injured 18 residents of nearby houses, including 6 children, 9 women, and 3 men. This brazen assault on a facility dedicated to caring for society's most vulnerable underscores the indiscriminate nature of Russia's campaign. Kharkiv city bombed by Iskander ballistic missiles. The northeastern city of Kharkiv, a frequent target of Russian aggression due to its proximity to the border, once again found itself in the crosshairs. At least 10 missiles, believed to be Iskander ballistic missiles, rained down on the city, causing widespread destruction and injuring at least 47 people. President Volodymyr Zelensky took to Telegram to condemn the attack, stating Russia is once again terrorizing Kharkiv, striking civilian infrastructure and the city itself. The use of Iskander missiles, known for their accuracy and destructive power, against civilian targets in Kharkiv represents a significant escalation in the ongoing conflict. The assault on Kharkiv came in the wake of what Moscow claimed was one of the biggest drone strikes launched by Kyiv against Russian territory since the full-scale war began. This tit-for-tat exchange of long-range attacks highlights the evolving nature of the conflict, with both sides increasingly targeting infrastructure and strategic assets deep behind enemy lines. Zelensky reiterates requests to use Western missiles to strike Russia. In response to the relentless Russian attacks, President Zelensky has renewed his call for Ukraine's allies to permit the use of Western-supplied missiles for strikes deeper into Russian territory. This plea comes as Kyiv seeks to level the playing field and reduce the military threat posed by Moscow's long-range capabilities. All the necessary forces of the world must be brought in to stop this terror, Zelensky declared, emphasizing the urgent need for a robust response to Russian aggression. He argued that allowing Ukraine to conduct long-range strikes with Western-provided missiles is vital to bring peace closer and save lives. The Ukrainian leader's appeal underscores a growing frustration with the limitations placed on the use of Western-supplied weaponry. As Ukraine continues to defend its territory and even launch limited incursions into Russian border regions, the ability to strike strategic targets within Russia is seen as crucial to undermining Moscow's war effort. Russia seeking to change its nuclear war policy. Amidst the escalating conventional warfare, alarming signals are emerging from Moscow regarding potential changes to its nuclear doctrine. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov hinted at ongoing work to amend the country's nuclear policy, citing what Russia perceives as Western-backed escalation of the conflict in Ukraine. Ryabkov's comments, made to Russian state media, suggest that Moscow is considering expanding the conditions under which it might use nuclear weapons. This development comes in the context of Ukraine's recent cross-border raid into the Kursk region, which has seized nearly 500 square miles of Russian territory. While the specifics of the potential changes remain unclear, Ryabkov emphasized that the amendments are conditioned by the study and analysis of the experience of conflict development in recent years. This vague statement has raised concerns about Russia potentially lowering the threshold for nuclear weapon use in response to conventional threats. However, analysts at the Institute for the Study of War have downplayed these remarks, characterizing them as rote nuclear saber rattling aimed at discouraging Western support for Ukraine. They assess that Russia remains highly unlikely to use tactical nuclear weapons in Ukraine or engage in nuclear confrontation elsewhere. Putin accuses West of persecuting Russian journalists. In a bid to shift the narrative, President Vladimir Putin has accused Western countries of openly persecuting Russian journalists. Speaking to the Mongolian newspaper Onodor, Putin claimed that the West is attempting to hide from inconvenient facts by restricting Russian media outlets. These accusations come days after Moscow announced a ban on entry for 92 citizens, including journalists and lawyers, citing Washington's Russophobic stance. Putin's comments appear to be an attempt to create a false equivalence between Western restrictions on Russian state-backed media and the Kremlin's own severe suppression of independent journalism within Russia. Putin insisted that media in Russia are free, with the only requirement being compliance with Russian legislation. This statement stands in stark contrast to the reality on the ground, where dissenting voices have been swiftly silenced since the invasion of Ukraine began in 2022. As the war grinds on, the battle for information continues to parallel the physical conflict. With both sides accusing the other of censorship and persecution, the truth becomes an ever more precious commodity in this high-stakes struggle for hearts and minds. Subscribe for more.